Remigrate, one word, posted by the United States Department of Homeland Security on October 14th, 2025. In just 2 days, it's exploded to 8.6 million views and an absolutely chilling message about where we are as a country. 8.6 million people have seen a single word from a government agency that's borrowed directly from the far-right extremist movements. The engagement alone tells you something about the moment we're in. Today, we need to talk about this post, the language that's being used, the policies behind it, and what it all really means. I'm Eliza Orlins, career public defender for 15 years in Manhattan, and let's start with that word, remigrate. This isn't standard immigration terminology. It's not deportation or removal or even repatriation, words that have actual legal definitions in immigration law. Remigrate is a term borrowed directly from European far-right movements. The word gained prominence with Austria's Freedom Party, the FPO, a party founded by former Nazis in the 1950s. Their leader, Herbert Kickl, has openly called for the remigration of uninvited strangers to create a more homogeneous Austria. The concept was popularized by Martin Sellner, an Austrian identitarian activist who has been banned from the UK, Germany, and the US as a potential terror threat. Sellner was linked to the Christchurch mosque shooter who killed 51 people. In January 2024, German media outlet Corrective exposed a secret meeting where Sellner presented his master plan for mass deportations, targeting not just undocumented immigrants, but legal residents and even naturalized citizens deemed non-assimilated. When the official government account of the Department of Homeland Security uses this language, it is not an accident. It is a choice. This is the language of ethnic nationalism. It suggests that certain people, regardless of their legal status, regardless of how long they've lived here, don't truly belong and should be sent back, whatever that means, to somewhere they may never have even been. Clinical bureaucratic tone of posting just one word with a period makes it even more chilling. There's no context, no humanity, no acknowledgement that we're talking about people's lives here. Since Trump returned to office in January 2025, the administration has dramatically escalated deportation operations. According to DHS's own figures, nearly 350,000 deportations by August 2025. ICE alone deported nearly 200,000 people in the first 7 months. The administration claims over 2 million people have been removed or self-deported in less than 250 days. To put that in perspective, ICE is on track to match deportation levels not seen since 2014 under Obama. But the methods and targets are significantly different. On January 21st, 2025, DHS expanded expedited removal to its statutory minimum. That means undocumented people anywhere in the United States who cannot prove they've been here for at least 2 years can be deported in as little as 1 day, without immigration court hearing, without appearing before an immigration judge. This applies to people who entered between ports of entry or people whose parole status has been revoked, meaning immigration officers can individually terminate someone's legal status and immediately place them in expedited removal. But it gets worse. The administration has been deporting people to countries they've never been to. What they call this is third country deportations. The U.S. has pursued deals with at least 53 countries to accept people being deported who aren't their citizens. People have been sent to CICOT, a maximum security prison in El Salvador. They've been sent to war-torn Libya and also South Sudan during an active conflict. In one case, a Guatemalan man was deported to Mexico 2 days after testifying in court that he had been abducted and raped there. The Cato Institute found that more than 50 Venezuelans deported to El Salvador had come to the United States legally and broken no immigration laws. A federal judge issued orders to stop these deportations as violations of international law. The Trump administration allowed the flights to proceed anyhow. And we're not just talking about statistics here. These are families being separated. These are children growing up without parents, people being sent to countries where they face persecution or violence. This is communities being torn apart, workers disappearing from farms, restaurants, construction sites. Former immigration judge Dana Lee Marks called the new mandatory detention policy a cynical move to try to force people to litigate their cases while they are detained. In July 2025, Congress passed a reconciliation bill allocating $170 billion, that's billion with a B dollars, for immigration enforcement, including $45 billion for new detention centers, a 265% annual increase. Then another $30 billion for ICE enforcement operations, tripling ICE's budget, $10 billion slush fund for border operations with minimal oversight. This is more funding than the entire federal prison system. It represents the largest investment in detention and deportation in American history. The American Immigration Council estimates it costs $88 billion annually to detain, deport 1 million people per year, nearly 90% of DHS's entire budget. In March 2025, DHS skipped competitive bidding to award Republican-linked firms $200 million for an anti-migrant ad campaign featuring Secretary Kristi Noem thanking Trump. In February, the White House posted a video showing immigrants in shackles being prepared for deportation, captioned ASMR, illegal alien deportation flight. The imagery was deliberately dehumanizing, treating human suffering as entertainment. This isn't only about immigration enforcement. This is the normalization of cruelty, making deportations entertainment, stripping away humanity, and adopting extremist language. Remigrate comes from identitarian movements advocating ethnic cleansing. It's about circumventing legal protections, ignoring court orders, international law, and due process. It's about targeting legal immigrants too. Third country deportations, parole revocations affecting people here lawfully. It is about creating a climate of fear. DHS openly telling immigrants to self-deport or face consequences. We've seen this playbook before. The language of remigration and creating homogeneous societies has dark historical precedents. When governments start categorizing people by ethnicity and targeting them for removal, even those who are here legally, we need to recognize the warning signs. Austria's Freedom Party, where this language originates, was founded by former SS officers. The identitarian movement promoting remigration explicitly frames it as preventing the Great Replacement, a white nationalist conspiracy theory. When the U.S. government adopts this terminology, it's not neutral, it's a signal. That single word, remigrate, posted by a government agency, represents more than aggressive immigration enforcement. It represents the mainstreaming of far-right ideology into official U.S. government policy and communications. It represents the dehumanization of millions of people as political strategy. It represents the erosion of due process and legal protections in pursuit of a punitive agenda. Whether you support strict border security or comprehensive immigration reform, we should all be concerned when our government adopts the language of extremist movements and treats human beings as a problem to be eliminated rather than people with rights, families, and dignity. One word, 8.6 million views in 2 days, and a stark reminder that the words we normalize, the language we accept, and the policies we allow have real consequences for real people. The fact that this post went from 2.1 million views to 8.6 million views in under 48 hours shows how viral this message has become, how it's being shared, amplified, and normalized across social media. That virality itself is part of the strategy. We have to ask ourselves, is this who we are? Is this who we want to be? And we need to fight back against this neo-Nazi language. Thank you for watching. If this video has made you think, please like, share, and subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And remember, awareness is the first step toward accountability.